Guys, it's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, and it looked like the Browns media is finally done with this Dillon Gabriel agenda. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Cleveland. Let's get it. Let's go.
For real? Somebody call me Junior too.
When I pulled up, I thought you was Junior. I got put him on place.
Stop right here for me. Go on and fill in. Go on and fill in.
Telling y'all this for a while now. Well, not a while, but like a couple of days that the Browns media is done with this whole Dillon Gabriel thing, and everything is looking suspect with them and this whole Shedeur thing, because it looked like there was definitely a planned attack on Shedeur character and performance on the football field, set in stone by people that work in Cleveland media. People can say what they want. I'm holding true and definitely believing that there was a conspiracy to depict Shedeur playing ability to be a certain way and to depict his character to be a certain way. We all remember when he got that speeding ticket, right? It was a speeding ticket. Granted, was he going fast? Yeah, he was going fast. But the fact of the matter is, they blew it out of proportion. Myles Garrett, like 2 weeks later, ended up getting a speeding ticket too. But you didn't see it reach the heights that Shedeur did. You didn't see multiple upon multiple videos coming out from these Cleveland media people talking about Shedeur, talking about Myles Garrett getting that speeding ticket. But it's things like that that played out to me during the offseason that tried to hurt his character, as a person. But you want to know what Shedeur did when all that was going on? Visiting more schools, pulling up on kids, going to the trenches, going to the hood. Think about any other player in the NFL that's young, like Jaden Daniels. No disrespect to Jaden Daniels, but you don't see him pulling up to the trenches. Caleb Williams ain't going to O-Block. You ain't seeing Shedeur was going to the trenches, bro. Do they like him going to the trenches? No. At least I don't think they do. And I think that's part of the reason, too, as well, why they went at him so hard is because he was going to the trenches. He's pulling up on these kids, and he was just being all of them, bro. Now, something that caught my attention was this right here. Now, this was Tony Grossi speaking about Shedeur prior to the draft, bro. So this before he went to Cleveland and everything. Listen to Tony Grossi, y'all.
First of all, if the Browns took Travis Hunter at 2, how far up would they have to go from 33 to catch a falling Shedeur?
Yeah.
I think they have to go a little too far.
Okay.
I don't believe he falls into the 20s.
Okay.
I think, first of all, if the Browns...
Wow, that's Tony.
Draft stock is falling and falling fast.
I am not buying that.
Okay.
I think that Shedeur is going to be regarded as the number 2 quarterback in this draft. And it's not going to get anything worse than that. And I think there are, 4 teams in the top 7 that are looking for
Where did this energy
second-best
come
quarterback
from?
in this draft.
Yeah.
According to most.
Did your opinion on that change after the combine? Because we did talk about that a little bit last week.
I don't think it changed, but I think the gap closed between 2 and 3.
Okay.
Rather than 1 and 2.
Okay.
So he's still firmly number 2 in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of most teams, he's the second best quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
Now that was Tony Grossi. Now what's crazy about all of this? We heard what we heard yesterday about Tony Grossi speaking about none other than Dillon Gabriel. Now this article came out today. It stated Cleveland Browns analyst brutally rips into Dillon Gabriel. Let's read this. It says Dillon Gabriel has now been the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns for the last 4 games so far. And it states he has not done anything to show that he can be a long-term quarterback, which we all can agree on that. Now, following that performance, Cleveland Brown analyst Daryl Reuter spoke out with harsh words and brutal criticism of the rookie. What did he say? Is this it? Let's see. Let's see if this is it. No, that ain't it. Let me pull this back up here. I'm trying to see if we can do what he said. If not, I'll just read it. He stated, I'm so frustrated that Andrew Berry did this. Reuter stated that he spent a top pick on Dillon Gabriel, that they kept shoving this guy down our throats. I told you in the training camp, the guy wasn't it. This is unwatchable. Now, certain people in the media in Cleveland was speaking about Dillon Gabriel being trash. Oh, man, y'all didn't see none of that. I am so sorry. So certain people in the media was speaking about Dillon Gabriel being trash. I give him that. But everybody was not on that same board. Now, none other than what's her name? Mary Kay. She was on a podcast today, and this is what she stated is happening during the bye week. Let's give it a listen.
Would ask for some kind of change and some assurances that things will be different. I think he's even going to do that this week at the bye week when he says he's talking to the coaches and players and different people to try to come up with solutions. As far as him getting mad and having a right to his feelings, I believe everyone has a right to their feelings. I believe that. And you should be able to express them the way that you see fit. So I don't have a problem with that. $40 million doesn't take away your heart and soul and your desire to win, even if you have an offense that can't match the intensity and the level of talent of your defense.
Yeah, and we were talking about this a little bit before we hit record too. And one of the thoughts I had was like, so the people who are complaining about Myles, and saying, well, he signed up for this. Well, would you rather him do this and be engaged and like actually want to impact change and affect change, or would you rather him just collect stats and collect checks? And because I think a lot of the same people would criticize him for that as well. They would just say, well, Myles is just out there collecting sacks and getting his checks and he doesn't care. I think it's better that he cares. I mean, yes, he obviously did ultimately rescind his trade request and come back. He didn't have a lot of leverage in that situation. I think it would be difficult to trade him if he did one out. I don't know the cap situation off the top of my head, but it's not easy. I don't even know if it's possible. He also has that no trade clause now. So I don't know. I think, certainly there are legitimate criticisms of Myles Garrett, but to me, like I'd rather have an engaged Myles Garrett who cares and wants to win than have a guy that's just here to collect the $160 million and go home every night.
Absolutely, 100%. And I even asked Alex Wright, his fellow defensive end, about that on a Zoom call today, what he felt about Myles slamming his helmet down like that, because, that can jar and rattle a team. And if you're looking at a teammate and you're seeing him kind of go off like that,
Right.
it can have a ripple effect on other people. And the impact that it had on Alex Wright was that he looked over there and he saw a player who cared and really wanted to still be in the football game, even though the game was out of reach with 2 minutes left in the game. So that's what these guys are seeing in him. And I think he is actually stepping up and meeting the challenge that Jimmy Haslam put forth to him in the offseason when he said, we need him as our $40 million man, not in so many words, to step up and be a real leader for this football team. And I think he's done that. I think he tries consistently to strap this football team on his back and carry it to victory. We saw that yesterday, and he almost did it. I mean, in the first half, they were down only 9-7 because Myles refused to let them get in the end zone. They were in the red zone twice and almost in the red zone another time. And he got 3 sacks that basically kept them from scoring touchdowns. And that's the kind of impact that you need to make when you are a generational player, when you are a Hall of Famer.
Okay, let's move on to this offense. And of course, that's been one of the big topics.
Now,
Kevin
this is what
Stefanski
they finna get
yesterday
into.
ruled out benching Dillon Gabriel. So it seems like they're going to stick with the rookie third rounder here for the, at least for another week, if not longer. I would assume longer. But look, he said that he's going to they're going to look at everything. They're going to evaluate everything. I said on the post-game pod that for everybody on that offensive staff, Kevin and Tommy and whoever else, this should be hell week for them. Like, this should be the worst week of the year for them, trying to figure out what they need to fix with this offense. And of course, that leads to this question, which comes from Steve Buzon, from Alexandria, Virginia. Hey, Mary Kay, is there internal pressure from above Coach Stefanski to give up play calling? And I mean, just more generally, do you think that's going to be the outcome of this week?
It might be. I asked Kevin Stefanski about that on the Zoom today.
Now, that is the topic of discussion right now for the offense moving forward. Him giving up his play calling ability. We don't know definitively if that's going to be the case, but let's listen.
Play calling be something that is on the table. And he did say they're looking at everything except for, of course, the quarterback situation, which I find a bit odd. But They are looking at everything, and I do think that it is something that they will take a look at. And I actually would be for a change in that regard, not because I think he's doing a bad job, because I think everybody involved with the offense right now is just trying to navigate a bunch of really young guys trying to work through this, and it's not easy for anybody. So I don't know if it would be the fix, but I think they have to try something. I think they have to try a few things. I raised a few of those points on our pod yesterday. I would be trying to trade for a receiver. I would be changing the play calling up. I would be doing some different things. I would schematically be doing some different things. Now they're saying everything but change the damn quarterback. You have to change the quarterback up. You change the quarterback up, you win the game. It's a quarterback-driven league. This, I don't know, man. Get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this, bro. Keep them bells on. And the only time I tell about Shedeur, bro. And like always, shake the haters off. I'm out of here, baby. Peace out.